Nocterra is the brand new image series from superstar creative team Scott Snyder and Tony S. Daniels. What's it all about? Well, let's hop into issue 1 and find out together, shall we? So then, as the comic opens up, we're in a world much like our own, in Denver, Colorado, no less. We meet our POV character, a young 5th grade girl by the name of Val Briggs. She tells a story about how she was adopted and got to come to America. Not a moment too soon either, as she was suffering from a degenerative eye condition which rendered her partially blind, a scary thing for anyone, particularly when you're that young. Val vividly describes the condition as feeling like there were dirty, dark fingers literally stealing the light from the world around her. Remember this, as this is going to be very important later on. Val's life and the life of everyone in the entire world is about to change forever, as today is the day of the PM crisis. Whatever that actually means is still up in the air at the moment. But the important thing to note is that on that day, the sun quite literally went black and the world was thrown into complete darkness. Val, her adopted parents, and adopted brother Emery attempted to escape the city when all of the chaos had begun to unfold. And how exactly that story shook out is left a little open-ended, as from there we jump far into the future. Val is now an adult in a post-apocalyptic hellscape, making a living as a ferryman. What's a ferryman? Well, basically they're souped-up truckers, hauling important cargo to the highest bidder across the blighted wasteland, and today Val just so happens to be hauling some very scared people. Now, like any good post-apocalyptic trucker worth her weight in diesel, Val also just so happens to have herself a code name, Sundrop, and she ends up earning that name several times over as her convoy ends up coming under attack by the Shades, a group of horribly mutated creatures which were born out of spending too much time in this deeply unnatural darkness. At first, Shades were easy enough to deal with, they were just regular old mutated animals, but flash forward a couple generations, and the Shades started interbreeding with one another, getting bigger and more horrifying. Naturally, the worst of all the Shades, though, are the human Shades. They're stronger, smarter, work in packs, and have even somehow managed to develop their own language. Luckily, Sundrop manages to make short work of these smaller Shades thanks to a bunch of gear and weapons provided to her by her brother Emery. Val finishes her long haul and manages to get these people to one of the last few safe human settlements left on the map. It seems that the only reason this place was able to stay alive amidst all the darkness was, and you're gonna love this, it was a light bulb factory before the fall of the world. In fact, light and energy sources are the backbone of the economy in this new apocalypse. Ferrymen actually get paid in those batteries that you hand crank. Now, Val's not back in the city for more than a few minutes when she starts adopting a whole new laundry list of problems. It seems that the city's overseers want to pay her adopted brother Emery a visit, but luckily she gets tipped off first. Then you got a mysterious old man and his granddaughter who came in on the last shipment. They want to hire Val for a particularly dangerous mission to take them to yet another human settlement, one that the old man says has everything they could ever want or need, and he knows because he's seen it. Naturally, all of this sounds too good to be true, and Val is deeply skeptical even after the old guy pulls up his sleeve and reveals that he has a sunburn, probably the last sunburn on Earth. Val seems unmoved by all of this, mainly because her mind is on other things right now, like the fate of her brother Emery. It seems that he's come under the same shade corruption as those monsters. Apparently, there's ways he can tell someone has been infected. It starts with black spots on the gums and then only gets worse from there. There's only a number of known ways to actually cure the shade infection. There's dialysis, but only if you catch it quickly enough. That's what Val's making her brother do now, as well as exposure to special ultraviolet lamps, but those are rarer than gold in this apocalypse. Knowing full well that her adopted brother's life, the last shred of family she has in this entire blighted world, hangs in the balance, Sundrop agrees to ferry the old man and his granddaughter back to this settlement, even though to do so they will have to be going through human shade territory. To make matters worse, the old guy's not just running from shades. It seems that someone has been sent after him, a rather mysterious figure who at first I thought was just drawn in shadow to keep his identity secret, but no, he actually looks like this. His name is Blacktop Bill, yet another very fun trucker reference, and the reason he looks like that is that his entire body has been grafted by little tiny nano lamps. It is, as you may guess, wildly painful, and he can actually burn people up just by touching them. Why is this guy after the old man? Well, as he claims, the old guy is to blame for killing the son. And so that was Nocterra issue number 1, everybody, and again, Scott Snyder manages to make his unique mixture of superheroics and horror work. This first issue may very well be a masterclass in how to get over your brand new science fiction world, the rules, the characters, etc., in just a couple pages. If I had to sum up Nocterra, I would say it's a wonderful fusion of Mad Max Fury Road, that vampire movie Daybreakers, with just a little bit of Smokey and the Bandit sprinkled on for flavor. It doesn't necessarily reinvent the wheel when it comes to end-of-the-world horror stories, but it remixes it just enough to make it fresh and exciting. Helping realize the world too is Tony Daniels' artwork. I really enjoy how he envisions a world that is truly obsessed with light and keeping the dark out at all costs. Overall, I enjoyed this one and thought it was a nice little diversion from my regularly scheduled capes and spandex. I would ultimately give this one an 8.5 out of 10. If you like Snyder's other work, I think you're going to like this too.
Hey there everyone, it's your old pal Cape Jewel, and if you're seeing me right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, which I am very appreciative of. It really helps drive engagement and retention and all that other good YouTube stuff. So does liking and commenting. Wink wink. If you like my content too, you should check out my Patreon page. We just redid all the tiers, so there's a ton of great rewards. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, and well, it would just really help me out. It's never expected, but always appreciated. So until next time everyone, I've been Cape Joel, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.